World. Hold
Välkommen allesammans. Today we are looking at this dirty skanky woman playing a little role play with her man being trapped in a tower playing a little sex games here, and it's a little side quest where Ivar can insert himself like we can see here. I'm showing you how we're about to do. So in all of my videos I like to share a little Viking story, and today I will talk about a very important one. It's the story of Gudrun being kind of captured against her will, and the very famous story about the Volsunga saga. So it's a super long story, I won't go into all of it, but basically the hero Sigurd is killed. And Sigurd was Gudrun's husband, he was a king. And Gudrun's brothers were the ones that killed Sigurd and took his treasure. And Gudrun was, after this, married away to another king called Atla. And this guy, his name was Atla, but he was Attila the Hun. So this story is about the Germanic tribes and the Huns and their relationship. This is hundreds and hundreds of years before the Viking Age. This is in the 400s. And yeah, all you see here in this game, it's she's telling you about how to seduce her and risking yourself, and oh, you're so brave. What a dirty woman. Anyway, she asks you to stand watch, and then you have to just fight off a guy and kill him and protect her, and then you can get some treasure, which I'll show you later on in the video. But anyway, back to the story. Gudrun wasn't happy that her brothers married her off to this king Attila against her will, especially after her husband was just killed, which was Sigurd, and he was the most beloved king ever. Everybody loved him, and she was married to him and lived a happy life. So she was sent away and captured and living with Attila, and Attila invited Gudrun's brothers to a feast. And Gudrun sent a messenger with this messenger of Attila with a ring to her brothers, and it was with a wolf hair tied to it. Now, a wolf was an omen for death. It was a metaphor for death in the Germanic and Norse beliefs. So this was a warning to her brothers, and everybody knew that Attila wanted to kill Gudrun's brothers because they had acquired a very valuable treasure when they killed Sigurd. So anyway, the brothers, stupidly, they showed up to Attila's feast anyway, and then Attila, of course, kills the two brothers quite brutally. It's a long story how he does that. It involves a snake pit and cutting out one of them's hearts, but it is a cool story. I'd recommend reading it. But of course, the two brothers killed. Gudrun was upset. Now, Gudrun, she had two young sons with Attila. She was captured against her will, but she was probably, given the D, and she gave birth to two sons by the king Attila, the Hunnish king Attila. And the story goes that Attila had a feast soon after Gudrun's brothers were killed by him, and as revenge, Gudrun kills her and Attila's sons, their own sons, and feeds it to all the guests at the feast. Then she kills Attila later that night in her sleep and sets the hall on fire. And that is the story, how that pretty much finishes off the Volsunga saga. And that's it. That's the end of the story. That's the last poem. It's called Atlakvida, if you're interested in reading. Now, the main story that we have from historical records is that Attila died at a feast from some mysterious cause. He started bleeding and, bad stomach ache, and he had seizures, and then he just passed out and died at the dinner table. But other sources later on in history actually tell us that he was killed by a queen, one of his queens, because he had a lot of wives, of course. But anyway, this story seems like it's pretty damn well true. And this is a mythological story from the Norse, and yeah, it seems absolutely true. So I thought you would enjoy that. It's one of the most epic stories in the all the Norse poems. It's called the Völsunga saga, and this poem that I gave you the summary of right now inside there is called Atlakvida. So I'd really recommend reading that. I might even put a link in the description below where you can read more about it, or I'll do another video where I go into a bit more depth about it. So that's about it for today. Vi ses nästa gång.